Hey, everybody. John Granato from the bench. Mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5, and AJ Hoffman from the Blitz. That's on afternoons on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. AJ, Sunday, man, listening to the guys on the Texans and Packers, and then Sunday night even in the Cards-Seahawks game, there were plenty of criticisms of the Texans personnel moves and usage. This is no big secret. We've been hearing this. We've been saying it for how long now? But now that he's gone, his failures are so public. Do you think there's any way that he's going to get another job in the NFL, or do you think he's got to go back to college? He's the new Chip Kelly.
I think the smart thing to do would be go back to college, but the NFL it's a good old boy system, and if you've worked with the right people, they'll recommend you. And people, whatever you think of what he's done here, which hasn't been good, every other Belichick assistant who's gone out into the world and failed has landed somewhere else, and I doubt that he'll be any different. I mean, obviously I don't think he'll get a head coaching job in the NFL, but it wouldn't shock me to see him get a coordinator job. It wouldn't shock me to see him go back to college. The one thing that would shock me is if he's ever allowed to have any control over any team's personnel ever again. That is never ever going to happen anywhere else.
No, there's a zero chance, and I think there's maybe a couple of spots. First of all, if Josh McDaniels gets a head coaching job, maybe even here, Josh McDaniels has been a name because of the connection here with Jack Easterby, but that's a possibility. Then he could go back there and work for Bill Belichick, because Bill Belichick is not threatened by Bill O'Brien. Every other person in the NFL should be threatened by Bill O'Brien, because Bill O'Brien is a climber, and Bill O'Brien is going to try to take you out. He took out Rick. He took out Brian Kane, and he thought he had won the war, and obviously we know how it all ended. But if I'm a head coach anywhere, I can't trust him. I just can't. So that, and maybe Andy Reid. Maybe if Eric Bieniemy gets a job, you can bring in a guy, because Andy Reid shouldn't be threatened in any way, shape, or form either. Brett Beach either. He shouldn't be threatened in any way, shape, or form by Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien had come in, mind his P's and Q's, and he can call plays and work with Andy Reid. Now, maybe when Andy Reid goes, then he could possibly step in. He could feel like he could step in or whatever. But those are two of the only places maybe that I could possibly see Bill O'Brien landing. And if I'm a college athletic director, I wouldn't feel threatened by him, although there have been some head coaches that have become athletic directors. I think that maybe Bill O'Brien might have learned a lesson. Put too much on your plate, and guess what happens? I know he's so power hungry, but I think that would be – I certainly wouldn't see him trying to become athletic director and head coach at the same time.
The question becomes, for the NFL anyway, did he do a good enough job as a coach that someone would feel good about letting him call the plays for their offense? Like, would Andy Reid or Bill Belichick say, you know what, this is the kind of guy I want call? Like Andy Reid, I can't imagine that would happen. I can't imagine Andy Reid looks at what Bill O'Brien was able to do with Deshaun and says, you know what, come put your hands over here on Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't make any sense to me. College, I don't think he's going back to a Penn State. And honestly, I don't know how he got there to begin with. But do I think that he could end up at a MAC school or something like that, where those kind of programs would be willing to give him a lot of control, not be an athletic director, but let him be the man there? And I think that is something that he would be interested in.
Yeah, I think there's a place for Bill O'Brien. I do. And as far as you know what, if I'm Andy Reid, I'm still probably going to call the plays. I just need an offensive coordinator in name. I've had, Doug Peterson. I've had Eric Bieniemy. I've had guys that have come in here and been a name that I might like Bill O'Brien. There are people that might like Bill O'Brien. I don't know. I certainly haven't found any, but they could be out there that they could like Bill O'Brien.
Tom Brady says he likes Bill O'Brien. I mean, I don't think Bruce Arians would bring him in there, but Tom Brady says he acted like he was sad, like his grandpa died when Bill O'Brien got fired. It's amazing to me that anyone respects this guy, much less has any kind of positive feelings towards him.
Yeah, well, and I could see Belichick too. Like I said, Josh McDaniels leaves. I could certainly see Belichick saying, "Come on, he did a decent job when he was here with us. He didn't win a ring, but he did he was even man enough to fight Tom Brady on the sidelines." that this is a man of his convictions, and we will we'll take him back. That to me is the most likely spot that he would fall. And then, he didn't do a bad job at Penn State. He did a pretty good job. He actually got something out of that quarterback, and which you can't believe because ever since then he's been a mess ever since that 1 year that Bill O'Brien had him. So I could certainly see the college ranks in New England, but that's about it.
Yeah, but I worry with the New England thing, the talk that came after he left, how everyone was kind of relieved, and it feels like just like the players all feel like they have this weight lifted off their shoulders. Some of them saying things publicly, DeAndre kind of hinting at things publicly, like that's what he gets. I wonder if a coach would want to bring in a guy like that the players would not be happy to see that guy walk through the door on any team.
No, not the way. But maybe again, maybe his attitude has changed a little bit since. Maybe
he's been humbled.
Maybe, but
I doubt it.
Well, it's doubtful, but he has to change. I mean, if he doesn't see what he did and he doesn't see how he went about it that was wrong, then then it's a lost cause. So he's got to walk in there and he's got to tell that coach, I know what I did wrong, and I'm going to be a gentler and kinder Bill O'Brien.